It's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 10 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at something that's going to probably come up in the mid-season premiere for Season 10, Episode 9, which is called Squeeze. We're going to talk about the possibility that we're going to see two deaths. Well, kind of. One of them most likely will be a fake-out death, while the other will be an actual death. But there is a chance that all of the rumors that we're going to see a fake out death are false, and we might actually see two character deaths in the mid-season premiere. There's hints about that, subtle hints, but certainly hints that I did talk about on other past videos, but I will mention them here as well. Obviously, out of the gang that we see here, plus Daryl, there's only two characters who we have not seen in any scene or any pictures for the second half of Season 10 that are outside the cave. These characters are Connie and Magna. The others we've seen during Hilltop Battle and other scenes that take place after the cave trap. Now we do know that Whispers are going to get into the cave, trying to kill the survivors. There's this shot in one of the latest teasers where we have Alpha telling the Whispers, make sure they don't get out. So the Whispers get in and try to kill the survivors. We actually see in another shot in the trailer, Magna is looking around and a Whisper attacks her. I think this is part of what's going to get Magna killed. I don't think she's going to die right on the spot here, but I do think she's going to fight the Whisper and kill the Whisper, but I do think that other Whispers will kill her. I don't think it'll be walkers that kill Magna. I think it'll be Whispers. But I don't think it'll be this Whisper. But I think this is a hint. Now, later on in the trailer, actually at the end of the trailer, not the one that they released today, but the previous one, they showed this shot of Carol. And she's screaming, looking at someone from above. Now, I think this is part of the cliffhanger of the mid-season premiere. And I think this is part of the fake-out death that we might see. I think Carol is screaming because she's looking at someone being trapped with a lot of walkers around. And I think they want you to think that that character dies, but I don't think that they will. I think they'll get a fake-out death. And I think that that character is going to be none other than Connie. So I think Magna will get an actual death by the hands of a Whisperer, but Connie will get a fake-out death, where you think she dies, but she doesn't. That might actually put Carol and Daryl at odds, because of Daryl and Connie's connection and their kind of history together. Now, I don't think it's going to lead to them hating each other or wanting to kill each other, not by any means, but I do think that it could create tension between them as well. And I don't think that we'll get a reveal about Connie's fate by the end of the season. I think we're gonna have to wait until season 11 to know whether she actually survives or not. Now, that's a little unrealistic in a way, depending on how they do it. Like, if they make the entire second half take place within a couple days, then it makes sense for them not to have found Connie by season 11. But if the second half of season 10 takes several weeks or several months, then it doesn't make sense for them not to have found Connie. You know what I mean? Like, she would have actually died. She's trapped. If she wouldn't have been able to get out by then, she would probably have died. And if she did get out, then how come she wasn't found by the other survivors? You know what I mean? So, depending on how they do it, the fake out death that we might see may or may not work. But I'm not going to judge that until I see it. Now, there is a chance that they might actually kill both of these characters, but I think that's a little unlikely. But there's definitely hints that we might see that. They're subtle, but they're definitely there, that lead us to think that we might actually be getting another double major death moment. Of course, this is not the first time that they'll have a double major death moment, if it does in fact happen, because of course they did do the double major death during the Negan clearing scene in 701, where Negan killed both Abraham and Glenn. And the reason I bring that up is because that in itself is a clue. And I'll get to that. But what I do want to quickly mention here as well is that we have seen Walking Dead recycle storylines, topics, and materials before. It's not the first time. And that's one of the other reasons that lead me to think that they may in fact be recycling this specific storyline again and reusing that bit of the story from season 7 again. Now, of course, during that time, one of those double deaths that we saw with Abraham and Glenn was caused by Rick's actions and his decisions, going in and killing the Saviors in their sleep. But the other death was a direct consequence of Daryl's actions, punching Negan, which of course ended up getting Glenn killed. So Abraham's death, in a way, could be on the entire group because of what they did. They were led by Rick, but then again, we can't necessarily blame Rick directly. It wasn't an individualistic mistake that led to that, but Glenn's death was an individualistic mistake. It was Daryl's mistake. And I think if it was anyone else, they would not have been able to brush that off as easily as they did. I mean, they didn't really brush it off. Daryl went through his thing and he had that moment with Maggie, but they didn't really kind of make a big deal out of that as much as they should have. And obviously because of Maggie and Daryl's connection and their history together, that made that a little bit easier. Now, why do I even talk about all of that? The reason being, they may actually be doing the exact same thing. But this time, instead of Daryl doing something that ends up getting someone killed, it's Carol. And it's not the first time she's doing it. But before, it actually didn't end up getting anyone killed. The first time Carol did something, went on a rogue mission and risked everyone's lives, was when she faced up with Alpha earlier on in season 10 and tried to take a shot at her. Of course, she was unsuccessful because Michonne stopped her, but that could have very well have ended up getting someone killed. But of course, what it ended up doing was Alpha just claimed more land because of that. Now, it's also entirely possible that if that didn't happen and Carol didn't try to take a shot at Alpha, she would have still demanded land because they did cross her land multiple times. But that's beside the point. The point is that Carol's decision to try to take a shot at Alpha could have cost someone their life. It didn't the first time. But then she did pretty much the exact same thing in a different way. Once again, she went after Alpha and got everyone that's in the cave trapped. Now, this time though, I don't think that they'll be able to get away from that situation without someone dying. Now, if they just have one character die, that might not necessarily be enough to push Carol's story forward and to make Carol see the impact of what she has done. And the reason I say that is because of what everyone's already saying. The survivors didn't need to follow Carol into the cave, which is not entirely true. I mean, Carol should have known that they were going to follow her. But that's precisely why I think they might have a separate death that's going to be caused directly by Carol's actions. Now, even if we don't see two deaths and one of them is a fake out death, I think it does the same thing for Carol's story. Like, Carol and the others are going to think that both died. And I think one is going to be directly linked to what Carol does, which is going to push Carol's story forward. So I think that's how they're going to have that go down. I could be wrong about that, but everything is pointing towards that for me. But I want to know everyone's thoughts and opinions about this. Do you think we're going to see two deaths in the mid-season premiere, or are we going to see one death and a fake-out death? And how do you think these deaths are going to push Carol's story forward and prevent her from making any other stupid decisions going forward? At least as far as the Whisperers arc is concerned. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads.